I was supposed to die tonight, so I gave them my husband instead. I made a deal to save my own life. I just never thought I'd be the one who had to pay the price. This all started back in 1996 in the primordial soup of the early internet. My parents had just brought home our first computer, a beige behemoth that whirred and clicked and sang the shrieking dial-up song of its people. It was a family machine, but I was the one who truly explored its depths. When my parents were out, I'd venture into the digital wilderness, typing in random morbid words followed by .com just to see what would happen. I was a strange kid. One Tuesday afternoon, with my dad at work and my mom on a quick grocery run, I typed in the one that would change everything, the one I'd been circling for weeks, too afraid to actually try. The page that loaded wasn't some cheap jump scare site, it was stark. Black background, white text. A single, photorealistic drawing of a skeletal figure in a heavy, dark cloak dominated the screen. Its bony fingers were steepled, as if in prayer or contemplation. Below it, a simple, chilling question in a font that looked like it was scratched into the monitor. Would you like to know the hour of your end? A prompt blinked patiently, waiting for a name and a date of birth. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic bird trapped in a cage. My name, Lyra. My birthday. My fingers, small and trembling, pecked out the information. I clicked Submits. A new window materialized. My first instinct was to slam my eyes shut. This was stupid. A game. A prank. It couldn't possibly know. But a sliver of primal fear, a voice as old as humanity itself, whispered, "What if it does?" The jangle of my mother's keys in the front door lock was like a gunshot. She'd kill me if she found me on a site like this. She still thought my world was composed of crayons and cartoons. My hand flew to the mouse, a panicked blur, aiming for the little X in the corner. But in that fraction of a second, my eyes betrayed me. I saw it. Just a flash of text before the window vanished. But it was enough. August 21, 2022, at 12:05 a.m. For years, I told myself I'd forgotten it. I shoved it down, buried it under schoolwork, friendships, first loves, and the thousand tiny dramas of growing up. But it was always there, a splinter of ice lodged deep in my soul. Every birthday wasn't a celebration, but a countdown. 20 years left. 15. 10. It made me frantic. I had to leave a mark, something that would outlast the absurdly short time I'd been given. I wrote with a desperation that bordered on madness, pouring everything I had onto the page. And it worked. My first novel was published when I was 25. Seeing it on a shelf, my name on the spine, felt like a victory against the clock. It wasn't immortality, but it was something. My second book was meant to be my masterpiece. I bled for it, sacrificed my social life, my sleep. It was everything I had, and every single publisher rejected it. The failure was absolute. It broke something inside me. One night, drowning in cheap wine and self-pity, my fingers found their way to the laptop. I don't even remember deciding to do it. It was like I was watching someone else type in that old, forbidden address. The page that loaded was a blank, gray slate. In sterile corporate text, it read, "This domain is for sale." The relief that washed over me was so total, so all-consuming, that I started to laugh. A wild, unhinged sound that was half sob. It was all a hoax. A ghost from the internet's infancy, designed to scare kids like me. Of course it was. I wasn't dying. I was just a failed writer having a panic attack. After that, I relaxed. I learned to breathe again. I met Corbin. He was solid and kind, and he smelled like sawdust and clean laundry. He was a tax accountant, a man who believed in sensible shoes and balanced ledgers. He wasn't a whirlwind romance. He was a safe harbor. He believed in my writing, even when I didn't, and was happy to be the bedrock I built my dreams on. We got married on a day so bright it hurt to look at the sky. For a few beautiful years, the clock in my head finally fell silent. And then the calendar turned to 2022. Time has a way of ambushing you. You can ignore it, pretend it isn't happening, but it keeps its appointments. August 20th arrived, a Saturday. I pretended it was nothing. I spent the weeks prior getting every medical test imaginable. The doctors all said the same thing. I was in perfect health. Still, I took precautions. I made no plans for that night. Corvin, ever the early bird, went up to bed around 10 with a kiss on my forehead. I told him I was hooked on some stupid show and would be up later. The lie tasted like ash. How could I possibly sleep? What if the prophecy was literal? What if I was meant to die in my sleep? At 11:31 p.m., a strange tingling started in my fingernails, a pins and needles sensation, like a limb falling asleep. I flexed my hands. It faded, then returned, more insistent this time. I did what any modern person does when faced with the terrifyingly unknown. I Googled it. The results were a mix of vitamin deficiencies and nerve disorders, none of which applied to my medically certified perfect health, except for one. A primary symptom of severe anxiety. My own mind was turning on me. I had to see the proof again. I had to see that gray, boring for sale page and know I was safe. My fingers, slick with sweat, typed the address into my phone's browser. It wasn't a gray page, it was him, the skeleton. The same drawing, the same cloak, the same unnerving stillness. But something was different. He was pointing one long, bony finger at a digital clock that was counting up in real time in glowing red numbers. 11:44:01 p.m. 11:44:02 p.m. 11:44:03 p.m. The room tilted. The air grew thick and heavy, pressing in on me. How? How was this possible? This wasn't a cached page, this was live. How did it know me? I wasn't on that old beige behemoth. I was on a different device, a different network, a different life. My rational mind scrambled for an it's just a clock. It doesn't mean anything. Someone bought the domain again. It's an elaborate, sick prank. The tingling in my nails was back, but now it was a burning itch, deep under the surface. I glanced down at my hands. My nails, they looked bruised. A faint, purplish shadow bloomed at the base of each one. Had they always looked like that? I threw the phone onto the couch cushion beside me, as if it were radioactive. "It's not real," I whispered to the empty room. "It's just a night. It will pass." DRIIIIINN. The doorbell shrieked through the silence. I levitated off the couch, my heart trying to claw its way out of my throat. Our house was at the end of a long, dark road. We never got visitors this late. Probably just kids, I told myself, their bored laughter echoing in my imagination. I crept to the door and peered through the peephole. Nothing. Just the empty, moon-washed street and the skeletal branches of the oak tree clawing at the night sky. Annoyance warred with my fear. I unlocked the deadbolt, ready to fling the door open and yell at them. The moment I cracked it open, a gust of wind slammed into me. It wasn't just cold, it was a dead cold, a cellar cold, carrying a scent of damp earth and something else, something sweet and rotten, like forgotten funeral flowers. It wrapped around me, seeping into my clothes, into my bones. I gasped and slammed the door shut, leaning my full weight against it. Dryth, I, thigh, thy, and an N. It rang again, longer this time, the button held down on a persistent, malevolent buzz. "Go away," I screamed, my voice thin and reedy. I pressed my ear to the wood, listening. No footsteps running away, no giggling, nothing but a profound, listening silence. The date echoed in my skull. August 21, 22, at 12:05 a.m. With a shaking hand, I forced myself to look through the peephole one more time, and I screamed. But no sound came out. The air rushed from my lungs in a silent, agonizing torrent. My mouth hung open, a perfect O of horror. It was there. Not a person in a costume. It was the skeleton from the website. Its cloak was not cloth, but a tangible piece of night, swallowing the light from the porch lamp. Its grin was a carved rictus of ancient bone, and its eye sockets were pits of absolute nothingness that seemed to pull at my very soul, even through the distorting glass of the peephole. I staggered backwards, falling onto the couch, fumbling for my phone. 911. My thumb jabbed at the screen. "Someone's at my door. He's trying to get in. Please, he's gonna hurt me." I babbled, the words tripping over each other. Then I realized the call hadn't connected. I looked at the screen. No signal. Not just 0 bars, the entire signal icon was gone, vanished. And that's when I saw them, my nails. They weren't bruised anymore. They were black. A deep, necrotic black, cracked and brittle, like old charcoal. They were rotting right there in my hands. This was real. It was all real. I snatched the phone, my blackened fingertips looking alien and horrifying as they navigated to the browser. The red clock burned on the screen. 11:54:58 p.m. Darai Aen. Inin. The sound was inside the house now, inside my head. 10 minutes. I had 10 minutes left. My mind raced. There had to be a way out. Every system has a loophole. Every contract has fine print. I scanned the web page, my eyes darting frantically, looking for anything. And there it was, at the very bottom of the page, in letters so small they were almost invisible. A single word. Contact. I slammed my thumb on it. A chat window popped up instantly. Sleepy friend. Hello, Lyra. It knew my name. I felt a cold, dull lack of surprise. Sleepy friend. Congratulations on your imminent expiration. How can we assist you today? My hands were shaking so violently I could barely type. Me, I don't want to die. Sleepy friend. How can we assist you today? Me, please make it stop. I don't want to die. A small icon appeared. Sleepy friend is typing. The clock on the website glared at me. 11:58:31 p.m. Hurry. Please God, hurry. Sleepy friend. Our records indicate you requested a personal expiration forecast on October 13, 1996. We pride ourselves on our 100 accuracy rate. Me, I don't care. I was a kid. It was a mistake. Sleepy friend is typing. The clock ticked over. 12:00 a.m. August 21st. My limbs began to cramp, my muscles knotting and seizing. A cold rigidity was spreading from my blackened fingertips through my arms. Sleepy friend. We understand. Mortals are prone to error. That is why we proudly implement a near unlimited satisfaction guarantee. A flicker of hope. My muscles relaxed slightly. Me, so not going to die? Is the thing outside going away? Sleepy friend is typing. 12:02:10 a.m. Me, please answer me. Am I safe? However, as our operator has already been dispatched and reached your address, and the scheduled collection is less than 3 minutes away, it is against company policy to recall him without a retrieval. Me, what does that mean? You said satisfaction, guarantee 12:03:02 a.m. Sleepy friend. We are always happy to accommodate our valued clients. You are welcome to provide the personal information of an alternative subject. A form appeared in the chat window. First name, last name, date of birth. The air left my lungs. An alternative subject. My mind flashed upstairs to Corbin. Sleeping peacefully. He'd lived a good life. A happy, uncomplicated life. He was content. Did he need to grow old, to get sick, to watch his body fail? He was a great accountant, but the world had plenty of accountants. 12:04:23 a.m. But me, I was on the verge of my masterpiece. I had a gift. I had things left to do. Things only I could do. I just needed more time. All I needed was time. 12:04:51 a.m. I shut down my thoughts, my conscience, everything. I became a machine. My fingers, stiff and alien, moved over the touchscreen keyboard. The taps were unnaturally loud in the crushing silence. Corbin's first name, his last name, his date of birth. I hit send. 12:05 WO a.m. I held my breath, my eyes locked on the front door, waiting for it to splinter, for the horror to come pouring in. Ping. I flinched. Not the doorbell. A notification from my phone. Sleepy friend. Thank you, Lyra. The team wishes you a long and productive life. Sleepy friend has left the chat. That was it? I stared at the clock on the website. 12:05:59 a.m. 12:06 a.m. 12:06:01 a.m. And I was still breathing. I looked down at my hands. My nails were pink and healthy. Perfect. Had they ever been black, or had the fear, festering for 26 years, finally made me break from reality? Slowly, shakily, I got to my feet. I walked to the door, my legs feeling like they were filled with sand. I looked through the peephole. The empty street, the skeletal tree, nothing. It was over. A prank. A horrifyingly sophisticated, cruel prank, but nothing more. A wave of clarity washed over me, the kind you feel after waking from a fever dream. Tomorrow, I would figure out how they did it. A whisper of movement behind me. The air temperature plummeted. I turned. It was gliding down the staircase. The figure. Its cloak a void in the dim light of the living room, its bony grin an unchanging slash of white. My feet were rooted to the floor. I couldn't move, couldn't scream, couldn't breathe as it drifted past me, so close I could feel the absolute zero of its presence. It didn't touch the door. The door simply swung open to let it pass, and then swung shut behind it, leaving only silence and the lingering smell of cold earth. I didn't go upstairs. I already knew what I would find. I just stood there in the dark and called the police, reporting that my husband wasn't waking up. That was 3 years ago. The official cause of death was a massive, unexpected heart attack. Corvin had some family history, so nobody questioned it. He was a wonderful provider, even in death. His life insurance was more than enough to let me write full-time, free from financial worry. He bought me this time with his life. I still haven't finished my masterpiece. Some days, the weight of what I did is a physical presence in the room, so heavy I can't get out of bed. Other days, a frantic panic seizes me, the thought that my own clock is still ticking, that my satisfaction guarantee was only a temporary extension. I see dark cloaks in crowds. I hear doorbells in my sleep. I live in a state of constant, low-grade terror, waiting for the bill to come due. The uncertainty is what's truly killing me. Slowly, maybe if I knew for sure. Maybe if I had a date to work towards again, I could find my focus. I checked the other night. The website is still there. The skeleton is still waiting, its hands steepled patiently. Would you like to know the hour of your end? The blinking cursor is waiting for my name. Should I do it, or am I just asking for a new price and a new person to pay it?